There's only two ways to learn things, the hard way or the harder way. If you're smart, you can learn the hard way. But in my experience, 99% of the planet only learn the hardest possible way. If the lesson's even 85% effective, they'll make the same mistake. It's only when they completely decimate and destroy an element of their life do they sit there and go, oops, now I get it.
No.
That's how it goes. You're never going to be truly happy in your mind if you go against the teachings of God. I don't care how much money you make. If you're a bad person, you're not going to feel happy. I don't care how much money you make. If you snake people or lie to people or do bad to people, you're never going to feel happy true deep in your heart. True in your heart, we're intrinsically designed to do right and do good. And that's something that God gave us. And when you have that, you understand that that's more important than anything else. So these people who are up here promoting degeneracy, saying, take Percocets and bang girls and drink vodka and you're going to be great. I drink. I'm not saying I don't drink, but that's not my message. There's no light without dark and there's no joy without pain. You can't have a rainbow without a little rain. How hard you chase pleasure and happiness, there's going to be dips and troughs in between. There's going to be come downs and downtrends. And you're going to have the juxtaposition between that time you were laughing your head off and acting giddish like a child and the time that you feel depressed as such. And I think it's much better to just adopt a very disciplined, stoic mindset.
Okay? The next time someone says, whatever it is, take that as an opportunity to turn around and go do exactly what they're addressing to get better. And guess what happens when you do this? Your life becomes the total shove it down motherfucker shit show. Okay? Like everything you become becomes exactly what they told you you weren't going to become. And I'm going to tell you, that feels pretty good. I've done it my whole life and made a career out of it. When you go out and try to do anything outside the norm, and I'm talking anything outside the norm, you are going to be faced with negativity. You are going to have people misunderstand you. And because they misunderstand you and because you are doing something that they don't do, whether they agree with what you do or not is irrelevant. They're just not familiar with it, okay? And what do people do when they don't understand things? They usually attack them. They usually put negativity towards it. They usually project their own insecurities and their own reservations about what it is they are incapable of doing, and they put them on you. And so when you start out in business or you start out on a weight loss journey or you start out to be a better person, you are going to face negativity. And I don't give a shit what any of these frou-frou, fluffy gurus out there tell you, okay? Everybody likes to pretend this is an ideal place. They like to think that everything's really going to be nice and it's going to be easy and it's going to be this. And I just have a really hard time telling you guys that shit because it's not true. If you can become someone that can transfer negativity into productive action, you are literally unstoppable by outside circumstances and outside elements. The only person that can stop you when you're able to do this is you. And the way you stop you is you can burn yourself down, right? You can get too negative. You can get too hot. You can get too frustrated. So it's something that you need to learn how to pivot on, but also control in a productive way. You all have friends that tell you shit like, hey man, what do you think you're too good for us now? Or, you know what? I don't think that's a good idea for you to do this. Or, you know what? You're too fat to do this. Or you're too stupid. Or you're too lazy. Or you come from this. And these are your kind of people. You're not one of those kind of people. We always hear these things. We hear them from the people who love us the most and who are supposed to support us the most. And it hurts because of that. And it slows us down and it makes us question ourselves and it squashes our confidence. And for most people, it makes them give the f***. And I'm not with that. When people tell me shit that is negative, I take that energy, I take that frustration, I take that pain, and I go address whatever is causing the pain. Because the reason it's causing pain for you is because it's true. All right? You have to acknowledge that. The reason people call you fat is because you're f***ing fat. You're the one that thinks that that's mean. It's not mean, it's the truth. Okay? So what do you do with the truth? You address the truth. When things aren't going your way, It's an opportunity to do better. It's an opportunity to get stronger. It's an opportunity to strengthen your grit, your perseverance, your fortitude, all of these things that make up what it is that you must have. You have to have these qualities to be successful. So instead of looking at it as a bad day, look at it as an opportunity to push through so that you can move through the day and make a deposit into your skill set that will serve you long term. All right. This is very simple concept. When things don't go your way, it is an opportunity to test the skill set of mental toughness, right? Which embodies a whole bunch of different things. But the skill of mental toughness is a skill that you must have. And when you have a day that isn't going your way, that's a gift. And it's a gift because you get to test yourself. And when you pass the test and you got through the day and you push yourself through, even if you had to drag yourself through every step of that day, when you get through that day and you look in the mirror and you say, motherfucker, pass that test. Nobody can me. That's a powerful thing. And you make a deposit into your psyche that reminds you of how badass you really are.
Carl Jung, the great psychotherapist, said about a persona is, don't be thinking that you're better off if you never formed one. So for Jung, it was a voyage from, say, undifferentiated self in infancy and so forth, through persona to authenticity, because you have to act out your ideals to some degree, right? And you also have to formulate a avatar of yourself in some sense that's a mediator between you and other people in casual social encounters. Like, you don't want to walk into the bank and have the teller tell you about his or her day when you say, "How are you doing?" Right? I mean, now and then that can happen, but generally it's too much intimacy too quickly. And so you need this functional shell. But the problem arises when that functional shell is all that there is. And then the real person underneath is just desperate and unhappy because nothing of what's being acted out reflects a true underlying reality.
You know, I know that you don't do what you do for credit. That kind of seems to be, the antithesis of pursuing your truth and doing it in the cause of truth. But it was so wonderful to see someone that I know has had such a profound impact on so many be received in such a way. We have a closing tradition. One of the, I don't normally do this, but one of the really great CEOs in our country, a young guy, has built a multi-billion-dollar company, really great guy, sat here yesterday, and I actually told him for the first time who he was writing the question for, and I couldn't believe his face. Oh my God, that's the one person I want to have dinner with. This is probably the most successful young person in our country. And so he knew who he was writing the question for.
Why do so many people say they're going to do something and then never follow through? And a few people do something inside their head and heart that gets them to follow through. But there is an answer, because there are people that do follow through, and there are people that never did before, and then they've never followed through in their life, and now finally they break through. And that's what I try to focus on, is what those people. So what do these people need to get started? Why aren't they starting? We all know the answer is fear. But the difference with you guys or me or anybody who's followed through is we're more afraid of what life would be like if we don't follow through than the person who's willing to settle for what they got and kind of hope it'll change and maybe purchase something for the moment and then not follow through on it. It's almost like people, overachievers, have a little more fear. They're a little more afraid of missing out. They're afraid of not being there. Good times create weak people. Weak people create bad times. Bad times create strong people. Strong people create good times. My whole thing is leaders anticipate, losers react. If you can anticipate what's coming, you can really take advantage. If you wait till it hits you, you're in trouble. The biggest problem people have is they think they're not supposed to have any. And problems are the fuel for growth, right? And so it's like, if you don't have any problems, you're either a liar or you might call them challenges.